Welcome to Goal Journal's Indian Premier League cricket match review.
Thanks for having me. It is quite the match we have to talk about today.
Oh, absolutely. So for you listening, I want you to just imagine, just for a second, standing in the middle of this massive stadium.
Right.
The floodlights are just glaring down, and before a single ball is even bowled in the second innings, you look up at the scoreboard.
And you just feel your stomach drop.
Exactly. You realize you need to score at nearly 13 runs and over just to tie the match.
Which is, it's psychological torture.
That is exactly what it is. And that's the torture the Gujarat Titans faced in this IPL 2026 qualifier. We are talking about a record-breaking 255 runs put up by Royal Challengers Bengaluru.
A staggering number.
And it gets crazier, right? An astonishing 114 of those runs were scored in just the final 6 overs.
Yeah, that stat is it's hard to even wrap your head around.
It really is. So our mission on today's deep dive is to figure out the exact biomechanics, the tactical blunders, and, honestly, the sheer psychological warfare that led to one of the most suffocating dominations in cricket history.
Because, the sheer scale of that total completely alters the physics of a run chase.
How so?
Well, when you dissect a match of this magnitude, you realize that a 255-run total isn't just about, hitting boundaries.
Right.
It requires a fundamental collapse of the opposition's strategic framework, combined with a batting side that's just operating in a state of absolute fearless flow.
Fearless flow. I like that. And for RCB, that fearless flow represents a massive cultural shift.
Yeah, totally.
Because for you listening, if you followed this franchise for the last decade, you know the heavy baggage they carry.
Yeah, the memes.
The memes. We all know the Isela Cup Nam Day slogan.
Right, the whole "this year the cup is ours" rallying cry.
Exactly, which eventually morphed into this giant joke used to mock their perennial underachievement.
Yeah, it was tough being an RCB fan for a long time.
But sitting here in 2026, RCB has reached the final for the second consecutive year.
They've completely shed that meme status.
It's gone. It is now a terrifying reality for the rest of the league.
Which I think brings us perfectly to the architect of that reality.
Yes, let's talk about him.
Because you really cannot untangle RCB's current dynasty from the personal history of their captain, Rajat Patidar.
It's such a wild backstory.
It really is. To understand the 93 runs off 33 balls he hit in this qualifier, you have to understand the specific psychological fire he was forged in.
Right.
Because his journey isn't your traditional, golden boy rise to power. It is rooted in profound public rejection by the very franchise he now leads.
And I want to dig into the timeline of that rejection because it is staggering when you look back at it.
Yeah, let's go through it.
So Patidar joins RCB in 2021. He plays a few games, doesn't really light the world on fire, and gets released into the 2022 auction.
Which, happens to players all the time.
Right, totally normal. But in that auction, RCB doesn't just pass on him, they completely ignore him and buy a relatively unknown player named Bhuvneshwar Kumar instead.
Yeah, and the mechanics of the IPL auction make that a very bitter pill to swallow.
I can imagine.
You're sitting at home, watching your name go completely unbid on, while your former team actively invests in an unproven replacement over you.
It sends a very clear message, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It says, we don't believe in your ceiling.
Ouch.
But, the universe has a strange sense of timing.
It really does. Sisodia actually suffers an injury right before the 2022 season begins.
Right.
Which creates this sudden vacuum in the RCB squad.
And so the franchise calls Patidar back.
Now, if I put myself in his shoes, my immediate reaction is probably pure resentment.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you only want me because your actual choice got hurt. I'm just a convenient backup plan to you guys.
And the initial reaction from Patidar was exactly that.
Really?
Yeah, he felt deeply insulted and actually refused to return at first.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he essentially drew a line in the sand against being treated as an afterthought. It took immense pressure from his family to change his mind.
Oh, so his family intervened.
Yeah, they had to convince him to swallow his pride and view it purely as a professional stepping stone rather than a personal slight.
Well, thank goodness he listened to them, right?
Seriously.
Because he comes back in 2022, blasts 355 runs in just 8 matches, and then goes on to lead Madhya Pradesh to a historic first-ever Ranji Trophy win as captain later that year.
Proving he's not just a batter, but a genuine leader.
Exactly. Then he loses the entire 2023 season to injury, comes back in 2024, gets handed the RCB captaincy in 2025, and ends an 18-year title drought.
It's like a movie script.
And now he's got them in back-to-back finals. I mean, it is a masterpiece of resilience.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And that resilience, I think, manifested physically in how he dismantled the Gujarat Titans bowling attack in this specific qualifier.
Oh, it tore them apart.
When you score 93 off 33 balls, operating at a strike rate of, 281.81?
Yeah, just insane numbers.
At that point, you are not just reacting to the bowler anymore. You are dictating the geographical areas of the pitch where the ball is even allowed to be bowled.
I love that phrasing. And let's talk about the specific mechanics of that dominance. Because there was one shot that completely defied logic for me.
Oh, I know the exact what you're talking about.
Right. So, Kadisa Rabada is steaming in, bowling north of 140 kilometers per hour.
Yep.
Patidar creates room and plays this stand and deliver inside-out 6-over cover.
It was ridiculous.
It was like playing a video game on easy mode. I need you to explain why that should be physically impossible against a fast bowler of Rabada's caliber.
Okay, so to understand why Virat Kohli was looking on in sheer disbelief from the sidelines.
His face was priceless.
It really was. But we have to look at the biomechanics of an inside-out shot here.
Okay, break it down.
Usually against extreme pace, your instinct is to use the bowler's momentum, right? Playing straight down the ground or glancing it behind square.
That makes sense.
But to play inside-out over cover, Patidar has to step away from the line of the ball, completely exposing all three of his stumps.
Which is terrifying.
Right. And then he has to rely entirely on his forearms and wrist snap to generate loft against a heavy ball that is skidding off the deck.
Wow.
If his bat speed is even a fraction of a second late, his stumps are shattered.
It's essentially a high-wire act with zero safety net.
Exactly. He's intentionally putting himself in a vulnerable position purely because he backs his hand-eye coordination to beat a world-class pacer.
And he did this while brushing off early drop catches, too. He completely refused to downshift his aggression.
And that refusal to downshift is what sets up the ultimate destruction we saw in the final 6 overs.
Right, the 114 runs.
Yeah. Patidar's sustained aggression completely scrambled Gujarat's defensive plans, which directly leads us to the tactical unraveling of Shubman Gill's captaincy.
And I want to spend some real time on this because conceding 114 runs in 36 balls is not just bad bowling.
No, it's not.
It's a systemic collapse. So, GT brings in Catastrophic, a bowler who hasn't played a single match all season, mind you, and hands him the ball for the 15th over of a high-stakes playoff game.
Yeah, quite a choice.
And he ends up getting demolished for 28 runs. So I have to ask you, is this just terrible execution by a cold bowler, or is this a fundamentally flawed miscalculation by the captain?
Well, the data strongly suggests a massive miscalculation by Gill.
Really? How so?
In modern T20 cricket, there is this obsession with stealing overs from your weaker bowlers during the middle phase.
To save the big guns.
Exactly. You want to save your premium weapons, like Rashid Khan, for the death overs.
Got it.
So Gill looked at the scoreboard, saw a slight lull in the run rate around the 13th and 14th overs, and tried to sneak Kadrolia through.
But it backfired completely.
Completely. Because introducing a bowler with zero match rhythm against a lineup that is actively looking to accelerate is tactical suicide.
Especially when you consider what happens mechanically to a bowler under sudden pressure.
Yeah, things break down fast.
Kadrolia missed his lengths completely. When you try to bowl defensive wide Yorkers without any recent match practice, the margin for error is, what, centimeters?
Millimeters even.
Right. Miss by an inch, and you're serving up juicy half volleys right in the batter's natural swinging mark.
Precisely. Kadrolia couldn't hit the block hole, and RCB ruthlessly exploited those slot deliveries.
28 runs later.
Exactly. But the secondary damage of that 28 run over is the psychological momentum shift.
The panic.
Yeah. By the time Gill panicked and brought his premium bowler, Rashid Khan, into the attack for the 16th over, the damage to the mindset was done.
The RCB batters were already dialed in.
They were. They had just seen 28 runs fly off the bat, their adrenaline was peaking, and they just took Rashid apart for 21 runs.
It's like throwing a bucket of water on a grease fire.
That's a great analogy.
You think you're putting it out, but you just cause a massive explosion.
Yeah, it blew up in their faces.
So 114 runs in those final 6 overs. Gujarat heads into the dressing room needing 256. For you listening, just imagine the silence in that room. You need everything to go perfectly. Your openers have to play the innings of their absolute lives.
And instead,
GT loses 5 wickets in the first 5.2 overs. It was like watching a house of cards collapse in a hurricane.
And that right there is the physical manifestation of scoreboard pressure.
The required rate was just too high.
Right. When the required run rate starts at nearly 13, batters just abandon their foundational technique.
They have to.
Every dot ball feels like a physical weight on your shoulders, forcing players to manufacture shots that simply aren't there.
Yeah.
But we also have to credit the sheer geometric brilliance of RCB's opening spell, specifically from Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
Oh, Bhuvneshwar absolutely dismantled Shubman Gill. Bowled him clean for just 2 runs.
It was a beautiful delivery.
Walk us through that specific deliver, because to me, it wasn't just raw pace. It felt like a trap.
Oh, it was 100% a trap. It was a masterclass in setup.
What did he do?
Well, Bhuvneshwar spent the first few deliveries angling the ball away from Gill.
Okay.
This forces Gill to reach outward, planting his front foot slightly across the crease to cover the swing.
Right, establishing a pattern.
Exactly. And once Gill's muscle memory was fully committed to that away shape, Bhuvneshwar delivered a ball with the seam perfectly upright, angled it in, and let the pitch do the rest.
Sneaky.
Very. The ball nipped back sharply off the seam, slicing right through the gap between Gill's bat and pad before he can even adjust his weight.
Pure geometry defeating brute force right there.
Beautiful to watch.
But once the captain is walking back to the dugout, the panic truly sets in for GT.
The floodgates opened.
And that panic culminated in what has to be the most bizarre dismissal of the entire tournament, Sai Sudharsan's hit wicket.
Oh, yeah, that was tough to watch. It's incredibly rare.
Really? How rare?
In fact, it is only the second time a hit wicket dismissal has ever happened in the history of the IPL.
Wow, just the second time.
Yeah, but it's not just bad luck. There is a deeply mechanical reason why it happens under extreme pressure.
I want you to break that down. Because to a casual observer, stepping on your own stumps looks, well, almost comical.
It does.
It immediately brings to mind Inzamam ul Haq famously falling backwards onto his stumps against Monty Panesar back in 2006.
A classic moment.
Right. But what is physically happening in a batter's brain and body to cause that kind of error?
Well, when you are facing high pace and a massive required run rate, your instinct is to give yourself as much time to react as possible.
For sure. You want to see the ball longer.
Exactly. So batters will intentionally stand deeper in their crease, moving backward to gain just an extra fraction of a second.
Okay, that makes sense.
However, under intense scoreboard anxiety, your proprioception, which is your body's awareness of where it is in physical space, starts to degrade.
Ah, so you literally lose track of where your feet are.
Yes. Sudharsan pushed so deep into the crease to counter the pace that he completely lost track of his heel positioning. He rocked back and just crushed his own stumps.
Unbelievable. It is the ultimate visual metaphor for a team entirely out of control.
It really is.
5 wickets down, barely any runs on the board, and the game is effectively over before the power play restrictions are even lifted.
Game over.
But out of this total wreckage, we actually see one player refuse to fold.
Rahul Tewatia.
Rahul Tewatia. His innings of 68 off 43 balls was this valiant, lonely battle.
He was swinging when everyone else was sinking.
Exactly. He hit 8 boundaries when the rest of the team was just crumbling around him.
Which, honestly, begs a massive tactical question.
I know exactly what you're going to ask.
If Tewatia is striking the ball with that much clarity and power, why on earth did GT wait until the innings was in ashes to bring him to the crease?
It makes no sense. Why wasn't he promoted up the order earlier in the season to face more deliveries?
Well, the treatment of Tewatia points to a much deeper systemic shift in how modern T20 cricket is played today.
You're talking about the rule change.
Yeah. It all revolves around the introduction of the impact player rule. If we look at Tewatia's career trajectory, it serves as a tragic case study for the death of the traditional all-rounder.
I'm really glad you brought this up. Because Tewatia wasn't always just a guy who came in at number 7 to swing the bat.
Not at all.
People forget how he burst onto the scene. He was a genuine leg-spinning all-rounder.
A match winner with the ball, too.
Right. Think back to that legendary match years ago where he was batting with Sanju Samson, struggling to even make contact, and then suddenly hit 5 sixes in a single over off Sheldon Cottrell.
One of the greatest IPL moments ever.
He used to win you games with both bat and ball.
But over the last 5 years, he has completely vanished as a bowling threat.
It's weird.
It is. And it's not because he lost his talent. It's because the structure of the game literally no longer has room for him.
How so?
The impact player rule allows a captain to substitute a player at any point in the match. Think of it like introducing a highly specialized invasive predator into an ecosystem.
Oh, I love that analogy. Explain how the rule acts as that predator.
So in the old ecosystem, an all-rounder like Tewatia was incredibly valuable. He could give you a rapid 30 runs with the bat and then bowl 3 or 4 overs of leg spin.
A true dual threat.
Yes. And sure, as a part-timer, he might get hit for a few runs, but he could also buy you a crucial wicket in the middle overs.
Right.
But the impact player rule means a captain never has to settle for a part-time bowler ever again.
Ah, I see.
If Gujarat is bowling, they can just substitute a batter out for a pure 150-kilometer-per-hour specialist fast bowler.
Why give the ball to a guy who bowls 100 kph leg spin when you can magically summon a world-class pace bowler off the bench?
Exactly. That is the cold calculus teams are using now.
Wow.
The rule hyper-optimizes the game. It forces specialized roles and effectively kills off the hybrid animals of the cricket ecosystem.
So all-rounders are just obsolete.
Pretty much. All-rounders like Tewatia are now reduced to pure designated finishers. They're told to sit in the dugout for 16 overs, come in, hit 4 sixes, and never touch the ball in the field.
That is wild.
Even in this match, with GT desperate for a bowling breakthrough in the first innings, Tewatia didn't bowl a single over.
It is genuinely sad. It's like having a phenomenal two-sport athlete and passing a law saying they are only allowed to play one.
Exactly.
But even with Tewatia putting up a gritty 68 here, the mountain was simply too high because defending 255 runs isn't just about letting the scoreboard do the work.
No, you still have to bowl well.
And RCB's bowling unit was operating with a ruthless precision, blending extreme youth's masterful veteran experience.
The contrast within that bowling attack is fascinating to watch.
It really is. You have someone like Bhuvneshwar Kumar leading the line at 36 years old, completely outfoxing batters who rely entirely on modern power hitting.
I mean, I am marveling at Bhuvneshwar.
We all are. At an age where most fast bowlers have either moved to franchise coaching or, the commentary box, he is out there taking 2 crucial wickets in a high-stakes playoff match.
And he dismantled the opening partnership without relying on extreme pace at all.
Because he understands the physics of the cricket ball better than almost anyone else playing the game right now.
That's the key. His late career resurgence mirrors what we saw with Ashish Nehra playing T20s at 36 under Virat Kohli.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Kohli. And now the RCB management under Patidar understands something crucial.
What's that?
A bowler who can manipulate the seam, change his pace by rolling his fingers over the ball, and predict a batter's footwork is infinitely more valuable than a 22-year-old who just bowls fast but straight.
Right. Age is irrelevant when your bowling IQ is that high.
Exactly.
But the beauty of the squad is that they do actually have that 22-year-old fiery energy to back up the veterans.
They have a great balance.
Let's talk about the scouting triumph that is Rafiq Salam, the young pace bowler from Kashmir.
Yeah, Russi provided the perfect aggressive foil to Bhuvneshwar's calculated control.
He was brilliant.
To come into a playoff match where the opposition is desperate to swing at literally everything and bowl a double-wicket maiden, that is a phenomenal achievement.
It's unheard of in a chase like this.
He finished his 3 overs with figures of 2 for 24, completely starving the GT middle order of oxygen.
And we have to break down that cotton bolt he pulled off on his follow-through.
Oh, that was spectacular.
Because the physical reflexes required to execute that are just mind-bending.
Well, when a fast bowler delivers the ball, their kinetic energy and forward momentum carry their body weight aggressively down the pitch.
Right. They're practically running at the batter.
Exactly. If a batter drives that ball straight back at 130 kilometers per hour, the bowler has roughly 0.3 seconds to react.
0.3.
Yeah. To spot the ball, fight your own forward momentum, throw your body into a dive, and snatch the ball out of the air requires elite hand-eye coordination.
It's a highlight reel moment for sure, but it also underscores how complete this RCB unit is.
They aren't heavily reliant on just one superstar bowler having a good day anymore.
Not at all. Look at their squad depth. Jacob Duffy took 3 wickets for 39 runs, and his presence speaks volumes about the team's management.
The integration of Jacob Duffy is a masterclass in man management by RCB.
Walk us through that.
Earlier in the season, Duffy was dropped simply because Josh Hazlewood became available.
Right, it happens.
But in many franchises, a bench overseas player loses their rhythm or becomes completely disconnected from the squad's core mission.
They just check out mentally.
Exactly. But RCB kept him integrated, recognized a tactical matchup for this specific pitch, and seamlessly slotted him back into the playing 11.
And he delivered exactly when called upon.
He really did.
Add in Krunal Pandya providing a dual threat, chipping in with the bat and then matching up perfectly against the right-handers to take 2 wickets with his left arm spin, and just felt like a perfectly synchronized machine.
Every lever Patidar pulled resulted in a wicket.
It's true.
When your captain scores 93 at a strike rate nearing 300, your 36-year-old veteran outsmarts the opposition's star opener, your young prospect bowls a double-wicket maiden, and your rotation players seamlessly take 3 wickets.
You achieve the kind of total domination we witnessed tonight. Which brings us to the core takeaway for you, the listener. If you strip away the massive run totals and the spectacular catches, this RCB victory is fundamentally a story of extreme resilience.
100%.
You look at Rajat Patidar, a player who sat at home watching his own franchise completely ignore him in an auction, who swallowed the humiliation of returning as a backup, and forged that fire into a championship-winning captaincy.
It's incredible.
You look at veterans like Bhuvneshwar Kumar, written off by many as too old for the modern, hyper-aggressive T20 format, proving that pure bowling intelligence will always triumph over raw, mindless power.
They proved all the doubters wrong.
RCB took a decade of mockery and transformed it into a clinical, suffocating machine.
It is a remarkable turnaround for a franchise that used to be defined by its fragility.
It really is.
But analyzing this match also leaves us with a lingering, provocative thought about the future of the sport itself.
Oh, lay it on us.
We watched Rahul Tewatia fight a lone, desperate battle at the bat while being completely stripped of his identity as a bowler.
Right.
Meanwhile, a 36-year-old traditional swing bowler systematically dismantled a modern power hitter.
Yeah.
As T20 cricket continues to hyper-optimize, where data and rules like the impact player demand extreme specialization and erase the careers of versatile all-rounders, are we witnessing the permanent extinction of traditional cricket roles in pursuit of perfect efficiency?
That is a fascinating reality to ponder as the tournament progresses. Thank you. See you soon with upcoming matches.